with the ladies about the safety of this and what's going to happen to it.
Yeah.
You know, so to reassure people, and that we just want to keep it safe. And but how do we? I mean, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves.
So that is actually a really great point.
What?
What's that?
After we do all of this, and then we have some pushback, that it
Oh, yeah.
can't go public if they don't want it to go public. Have we talked about that?
No, but I think we can still have like with all the interviewees and us and all of SIS and Historical Society and all the sheriffs. It's a joke.
but that go ahead, finish.
No, but we'll have a public viewing, and maybe more things will birth from there. I mean, I don't want to get discourage ourselves before we even.
No, I'm not getting.
Yeah.
No, not trying to
Yeah.
discourage, but just
But it just makes
the storage,
yeah.
this whole "where does it go" conversation has
Yeah.
gotten me thinking. Now, where does
Yeah.
it go? Where does it rest? Where does it stay? What you
right.
know?
To protect,
Yeah,
but because I mean, not to sound whatever, but
because it's a crazy times we live in
yeah,
right now.
the most of all the things I've seen about the Holocaust, I saw this film once about I believe it was Warsaw, the ghetto, and they were recording themselves and writing letters about themselves and their families and their family history, and they buried it. And just people left knowing where it was, and they didn't find it all like years later, but they found some. And this documentary I saw was about that. So it's chilling, because this is what makes me think of. You know, we have to bury things, so to speak, for safety. You know, not to get too, but it is the times we're living in, and you know.
And this project it's gonna bloom, it's gonna grow,
Yeah.
and it's gonna ruffle some feathers,
Mm-hmm.
big time,
Mm-hmm.
big time.
But we're not. No one's mandated, right? And people are freely coming because they choose
Oh
to
yeah,
be.
absolutely.
And this, you know, we can
Yeah.
still do what we want to do, and because we're not saying we want them to get into schools, although we would love to, but that's not for now.
no, I'm not doing that.
Yes, so we're not asking anyone to go to a class.
You mentioned that from the Carver Center, we got 7 ladies that wanted to be
And one man.
interviewed. Okay, do we have any of the white people?
We're just starting the list now. I think,
Patty King has a list
Yeah.
that she's working with
I'm gonna
somebody
reach out to her.
in
When I
Flagler
talk to
Beach.
her, I'm gonna ask her.
Plus, Deb's comments. Did you read all the comments? I'm sorry. Read my mind, not my mouth.
The bulk of them. I haven't looked recently.
In Facebook,
Yes,
I'm not
yes.
posting. So many people are saying, yes, I remember the sign. Yes, I remember the sign.
Yeah.
Now they remember it differently. Some remember it here. Some remember it there. Some remember the wording on this way, and some remember. So there's some different. But the point is, all their names are there.
And these are people that we could possibly...
Direct message.
because do you know all the people that commented by any chance?
No,
'Cause it's so small.
there's a lot of them, like the older ones and whatnot, I didn't recognize, but the page that I sent
Yes.
to you,
Oh
like
yeah,
Ralph Abram, I know.
the one you typed up.
Yeah. And
This
then,
one?
yeah, I do know
I'll
quite
pass
a
this
few
around.
people
That'd be a wonderful
that
assignment.
that live in the now.
Right.
You never suggest good ideas.
But I don't know that many. I mean, I know some Flagler Beach people, but like off the top of my head, Catherine Wilson, I don't think she could be interviewed anymore. And I'm kind of drawing a blank, but once names start coming up,
Yeah.
there are a fair amount of people that I might know, but
Great.
just not, a lot of these people, because a lot of these comments are also from new people that don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah. Right, there you go.
Yeah. But I just want to.
But like the key one, Bob Robeson,
Oh, yes.
Bob Robson.
for him to flat out deny,
or someone on the.
That he didn't know about the sign?
yeah.
That was a quote. That was in the Facebook.
Yes, he wrote it twice.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't
Is that
want
what
to.
you're
So
saying?
I never met him.
Right,
When I lived here, the man across the street would talk about him, but he called him Bubba.
right,
It wasn't Bub.
right.
No, it's
And
fine.
so anyway, he was law enforcement.
Right, it was a chief
And
over there.
he grew up in Flagler Beach.
He was in police,
Yeah.
and he's denying this?
He was the chief of
Yes.
police.
And he
Wow.
even said, you know, I lived here for like every bridge there was. And then I was asking so many people undercover. I think I was asking, would you ask Bubba? Would you ask Bubba? Would you ask Bubba? Because all the pictures that he has, I figured he would have one.
Right.
So anyway, then he commented on there like, I don't know why all these people are asking me, blah, blah, blah. So I tried to diffuse the situation, and I responded to him, well, we've seen all of your pictures, and they're wonderful, and we really enjoyed them, and we just kind of thought maybe you would know. And he was flat out, nope.
Well, Patty King reached out to him. And
Was it on Facebook or privately?
No, privately.
Yeah.
And because it was suggested that he might own the sign.
Oh, yeah. He put it in the woodchucker.
And he told Patty King no, he didn't know anything about it. And you know, people saying, oh, the sign at the bridge, the sign at the bridge, the sign at the bridge. Well, maybe the sign wasn't at the bridge. Some of the people said, oh, it was at the Flagler Coquina
Right.
Rock.
So they can
It
say
was-
I didn't see it because it wasn't the one at the
yes,
bridge.
yes.
Well, he flat out, but then another person, so do you know Robbie Creel?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't really know him personally,
I know.
but he was actually in the Flagler Beach Museum that day at the desk, and I was asking if somebody from there would like to come with me to go visit to see if there's stuff that was Theo's that they don't have in the museum. And he looked at me and he was just, no. I think he'd already heard that maybe I was looking for the picture or that was the quest. And then it came up and I said, well,
No
you know,
kidding.
you don't want anything from Theo? Well, we have negatives. Which I would ask if you can see Flagler
Facebook
Beach's
page?
negatives. Because they may not have even looked at them.
Uh,
I don't know. Anyway, so no,
Flagler
Robbie Creel,
Beach group.
he did not want any part of the stuff that I got from Theo Hines.
And is this
And you have to
Bubba?
join.
No, right.
Oh,
No,
this is
that
somebody
was-
else. Sorry.
He's not as old as, but I don't know how Bubba is.
But I
Robbie
wonder if
Creel's
Bubba
not as
would-
old.
Bubba gotta get close to 70.
He's got,
Old-
no,
I'm sorry,
Bubba,
old
he's got to be in his
Flagler Beach.
80s.
Old Flagler Beach?
Yes.
Not
Yeah,
just
like-
old.
Or close
right.
to 90. Yeah.
I ain't close to
Flagler.
that.
No, okay.
And this is what
Larry, do you have a relationship with Warnell Williams?
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
Is he somebody that you think you could bring
I
in
don't
and,
think you
and
have to,
He don't want to
fill
talk.
out
He
Yeah.
said
the-
he's gonna forgotten half of the stuff. He forget his name.
Because I'd like to.
But you
because he's
I got
been
Reverend Gidding. I got Reverend Gidding
Yes,
want to talk.
Reverend.
right.
Yeah, because I think he
He's
needs
90,
to be next.
93 years of age.
The Reverend needs to be next.
Reverend Gidding.
Glean some information from.
Yeah. Right.
So what we do next?
Well, Patty King and this other lady.
I think-
Are we
Call
have a
it.
list of 7 people, white people.
Well, I know she's out there on 304.
Just when you said, when are we
Last
gonna
I knew
get
she's
that?
down
I
there.
know, we've asked her twice, but I need to go back those emails and find out the name of the other lady. Patty says, I'm working with somebody on
Yeah.
that list. And I thought that he's so busy with the census.
Her husband is named after the school, Buddy Taylor,
Yes.
middle school.
Yes.
She's her
I'm looking for
husband.
the
Yeah, that
same
was her
here.
husband.
So yeah,
Carla
Carla
Taylor.
might speak up.
I think
Yeah,
so.
Carla's
I think we should
pretty
move
old.
Carla
on.
might speak up.
Yeah.
Where is
I'll reach out to her. I'll reach out to her
And
son.
I've been
This is
saying,
what I think you see
Carla
all
would,
of
I
it.
used to have a number to reach her, but I don't have it anymore.
I get hold of her son.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just
Blame.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
it?
wondering,
It didn't say.
I might reach out to Maria Henry.
Okay.
Okay.
She's friends with my
Don't
daughter.
stress.
I know Maria. She's very
Carla,
outspoken.
Carla was
Text
telling
or
me
something.
that Maria has been
I'm trying
very,
to see if I can
very
find
pro
some historical stuff.
anti-Trump
Uh-huh.
on the internet, which the fact that she's doing that is speaks volumes. So she might know of people, of white
This one that we
people
Right.
did.
that maybe
She wrote it.
would speak up.
Right.
Yeah.
Also Janelle Rebels. I'm
What's
friends with
Janelle?
her. Now she once again is too young, but she might know of people that would talk.
What about Pruny Wadsworth? You think she would talk?
Pruny would. I
Okay.
think Pruny would.
Okay.
I don't know about Gail, but I think Pruny would.
Yeah, I know Pruny won't. Gail.
Gail won't do it.
No.
Wow.
So you guys know all these.
I mean,
No
like,
comment.
this is like
No
fascinating.
comment about Gail.
Oh, wow.
All right, we're
So
gonna try to-
Pruny's on our board,
Oh,
and
She
her,
is.
her health has been very shaky, so she might
Right.
be somebody to speak to.
Yeah.
pretty
Soon.
soon.
Sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're just talking about like what to do, what the plan of action is from here. So. do you want to say it?
So we have the questions. What we'd like for you to do. We're not going to take time to do it now, but if you would take some time to go through the questions and just make a circle of what you think we should. I know Deb incorporated a lot of this already. But go through that and see if there's something that stands out. It's the first thing.
Email was.
And then and we're asked, this is our thought, but you know, we're a team, this is a group, we're a committee, we don't
Based on
have all the answers, so that's why you're here, so that you can give your input, because we want to do this the right way. So where do we go next? Do we do a full-blown interview now after we get the questions? Make sure we go back to Larry now and do that, right? Tell me what you think we should do in a couple of weeks before and in the meantime, we're gonna compile a list of the names that we have now.
who's we?
Remember we talked about that?
No, I remember saying we need a designated person willing to take that on.
Yeah, I saw
And
what.
she
Oh,
said she
all
would.
right,
But that's a great
With
point.
the caveat.
Okay, so we need someone to help. We need someone to help Mary. We want to.
No.
We want to come up with, now we've got all these names. Where are these names? You know,
Right.
who's writing the names down? So we want to come up with an Excel spreadsheet with these are the names. These are the, I don't know, Banale names, Palm Coast names, Flagler Beach names. We need to get all these names that have been floating today. We need to get those somewhere. And so Mary said she would help, but she needs some help. She can't do that. So would anybody like to volunteer to help her?
Oh, with the names?
Uh-huh.
Or
The names. Yeah.
Everyone's going to work on the questions. So
Yeah.
this is for
Everyone's
the
working
names.
on the questions.
For the names.
But now we're starting to compile the names.
All right,
You
thank
will?
you. Thank you. Because I just want to say something, because I don't want a tsunami of names, because what I want to help is managing expectations, because if I ask, like the Reverend's been waiting for how long
We
to
need
be
to get him
interviewed.
before we leave.
Right, so
Yes.
if we get all these lists, then people are like, well, where's my interview type
I
of
will
thing,
make sure
so,
that you get all
No,
that.
we're just compiling a list
that we
from,
already have.
from us,
Yeah,
from Patty King,
all right.
we're not,
Yeah, so we're not looking for more names, because
No.
we have some
No,
already.
but you
and
got
I'm
names
like-
last week at the
Yeah.
Carver Center.
Right, so I think
Right.
we're, because they've been waiting a little bit themselves, so I think Larry is next to finish out the interview,
And then,
and we'll be compiling the names that we have, and people will be looking at the questions, and maybe it might be in order to, like, 5 questions you don't like and 5 questions that you like. All right, just so we can get the ones that people don't like also, that you don't think it should be on the list. And it's also, if I may add, you want help with the pictures too, right?
Yeah, I'm going to need another week or so,
Okay.
because I'm
Yeah.
kind of
you're overwhelmed.
reboxing things.
Okay, just so you know we're at the,
Yeah.
when you want, just let
Yeah.
us know.
I'm trying to get rid of the old cardboard because some of it's buggy, and I want to make sure there's not like eggs that have been transferred over and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
please,
So
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Can I just have a question about the questions. Somebody mentioned to me that, and looking at that other video that the high school did, which somebody was going to see if they could get the background information on that and the questions for that, because when you look at that and other things that I've looked at where they put things together, you don't hear the person asking the question. You don't know what the question is. So somebody said to me, either get the person to repeat the question, or we have to ask in such a way that if we want to compile it like they did, looked like those people were answering the same question, but we don't hear the question. Does this make any sense
Yes,
at all?
but we
It's just
heard
me
you-
thinking.
No, but we heard you loud and clear,
Yeah,
and I think that's fine for people to hear the question from you.
but I mean, if we were going to put it together in some sort of a presentation like they did on their high school,
Oh, okay.
you didn't hear the questions.
Right.
And as I looked, because I watched that first, and I was thinking, well, I don't hear the questions. But everything seemed to flow because they were asking everybody the same questions. And then this person spoke on that, this person spoke on that. So that's when we're looking at the questions, we need to kind of think about that. Is that something we want to do?
Well, isn't that
Later-
the editing process though?
Yeah, I would think
That's
so.
in the editing
Right.
I
process.
would
You could
think
ask
so.
them
That
questions, but then,
too,
you know,
yeah, right,
when they
right,
put it all together,
right.
yeah.
It's really labor intensive to remove all the questions, and then you've got those cases where dialogue may be back and forth so quick between the interviewer and the interviewee that would make it jumpy.
And we might not be asking the same, to Rick's point, things might shift and change over time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so I do think maybe, it's okay, I think, for people to be hearing the same questions being asked, or
And then the other concern that I would have with that is continuity. If you're watching an interview and the questions have been taken out, in my mind, I would sit back and say, well, what else has been taken out, from this as well. But if you're watching one long interview with, background noise, somebody opens the door, the phone rings,
Right.
You start to trust the fact that this video record is uninterrupted. It's not been, there's a whole lot of YouTubers out there where you can tell it's been spliced together, and they're doing that so it's one seamless story, and it makes them look like they've been president of Toastmasters International for decades. They're the most polished public speakers. But it's jumpy, so that's just something to consider as far as continuity goes.
Well, I think where I was kind of going was, we'll always have the full interview.
Right.
But I'm saying when we do the questions, if we want if we want to touch on certain topics, have everybody touch on certain topics, which is kind of how I did it. Like, what was it like your school experience, and how that all changed. If we want to formulate the questions so that we have all that, so if we do want to do something later where
We'll
we
hire
edit out
Sean.
a lot of it, and does that make sense?
yes, but we'll hire Sean.
Yeah, all right, he'll do it. So he'll know
I hear
what
you
to do.
add.
But we'll always have the full
Right.
interviews of
Yeah.
with the questions in there. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So next time, a meeting?
So, is everybody good with 2 weeks?
I have an issue.
Okay.
Remember, I can't do Thursdays. Well, suddenly Thursdays turned into Mondays.
Oh, no.
So I can do Thursdays, but I can't do Mondays.
Okay. All right. So
Thursdays.
Yes,
And
we
you
can
can't
do
do
Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Oh
It
no.
wasn't really
Yeah.
Thursday.
So do Mondays, and I'll just get the dope later.
No,
You do it at a different time?
no, we can't do that.
Just Monday,
No.
period.
Yeah, Mondays from 12:30 to 6:30. I'm not available.
What about Tuesday?
Tuesday I'm available.
What date are we talking about?
Tuesdays.
So,
that would
That'd be
be
like tax day. No,
Yeah.
that I can't do it
yeah,
tax
yeah,
day.
let's not do tax day.
we'll do the 15th then, just for this once, and then go back to Tuesdays?
The 15th is a Tuesday.
Oh, 16th.
And I don't want it to be tax day, so let's not do that.
Yeah, so can it be the
Let's not
16th?
do that.
The
Yeah,
six-
and you're gonna, Mondays are good, not gonna be good for you for some length of time, right? Okay.
Yeah, because
And
I
yes,
also think
And Thursdays are not good for you.
Tuesdays
So-
aren't good for you.
And Tuesdays
No,
are
it's
fine.
Wednesdays that
Not
are
as
good for me.
much.
Oh, okay, what about Margaret,
I
do you
don't
know?
know.
Well, Tuesdays is when we have
Close to
choir
town,
rehearsal,
they
but that's at
probably
5
wasn't
o'clock.
a sundown
Yeah,
town.
so
Yeah,
that's
so that's not
something
gonna
we
be
can-
good.
But it wasn't.
So what
it was
about-
rigid, and they didn't have signs like they did here.
How are
But now,
Wednesdays?
because
In the afternoon would
they
be fine.
would talk
Okay.
about
Okay,
the
like this, around this time?
Yeah.
Is it 4 o'clock, is that?
people were here.
Yeah.
But now
Is
the
4,
white
or do you wanna
people
make it
are
No,
later,
here.
no,
4:30?
So we're talking
Wednesdays.
about like the 12th of April, is that what we're looking at?
The 16th.
Or the 6th?
The 16th.
Come on, Pearl, I'm looking at the wrong month. Sorry, ladies.
So,
No, you have to apologize. You work with everyone.
Wednesday, April 16th at 4.
Yeah, that should
Is
work.
that good?
Wednesday,
Ed?
April
Are you
16th.
looking at your calendar?
Does that work for you to meet?
Oh,
I
I'm gonna
think
keep you
so.
straight.
What time?
Okay.
Sam, 4 o'clock.
For Pete.
Wednesday, April
Wednesday.
16th at 4. Is that good for everybody? And so that will be coming back together. We would have taken time to look at the questions and
Yeah.
any comments you have on the interview team process. And then we're going to interview Larry again. Is that it? Is that what we want to do, team members? We want
Well, I
to do. We
think
want to do. We want to go ahead.
Well, we do want to finish the interview, but here we're talking about the questions again. So I don't know.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah, so maybe get the questions.
Questions, get the
Yeah.
questions.
And we'll go back to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I have a question about
The question.
Larry's interview.
Okay.
Is the purpose of the second interview again for us to reflect on what's being asked, or is the purpose of the interview to collect?
This is
More-
Larry's interview.
This is
That's
Larry's
how I see
So
it.
interview.
we don't all need to be there for that.
That's a good point.
Because what I was thinking,
That is a great point.
because I was thinking that maybe as a practice, or not as a practice, but to be interviewed at your church. Would that be okay?
I don't care, I'll
Okay.
do it here, I'll come in
Okay.
and go anywhere.
This is his official
This is
interview,
his-
so
yeah.
to speak. Not
So, and who's
practice.
doing the and who's
I'll
doing the
come
interview?
I think
Okay.
I think the
Oh, so
consistency.
you're right.
Yeah.
We all don't need to be here
Yeah.
for that.
I enjoyed
Just,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not gonna
And
mess
who's
with
running?
this.
And who's running the
That's
camera?
okay with me.
I like to have, we have to start learning the camera too, because that's another issue to be
Oh, yeah,
cross-trained,
you
so
have
to
to do
speak.
Mhm.
You know, so,
We'll do it here, so Ed can help us if we have a problem with the camera.
okay, all right, so I'd like to learn how to use the camera.
Maybe that can be on the agenda for the
next week.
16th.
Yes, there
Yeah,
you go.
both squaring away the questions and getting the video.
Yeah.
I'm a repetitive learner. As simple as things may sound, but
So-
I would practice with filming.
We had
Practice
spoken
makes
to
perfect.
your
That's-
nephew about possibly using some of his cameras that are, not being used, and the video and the sound on this is actually pretty good because
It
I'm
was
not using
good.
an external microphone.
Yeah, it's great.
And it picks up everybody what they say. So,
Ms. Jones, you heard that?
so that's all fine. But if he has things that are better than this, I would prefer to go with that and start out of the gate with the best quality that
So
that we can get. So if you could speak to him
I
between
can.
now and then, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Okay, but how should I say this? It's easy to learn, Ed, because I don't want to complicate things with the camera.
Yeah, it's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I could
Could there be a
complicate
cheat sheet?
Yeah,
There's gonna
yeah.
have to be.
it.
Yep.
Yes,
There's gonna
because
have
we're
to
going to
be.
train each other too,
There's gonna have to
and
be.
changing the
a-
batteries
yeah,
and the
a-
glitches.
Just like we have. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and we also
Turn
do-
it on. Push the button.
Yeah. Press go. I just want to say, because it happened today here too, and I didn't turn off my phone either, but when we're interviewing, we're going to have to remember to ask everyone, including ourselves, to turn off the phone.
And please, somebody remind me to unplug this copier because it's got a motion detector on it. So if you move a certain amount, it's gonna
Yeah.
Okay. Copy.
it's gonna start it. So just make sure I unplug it.
Copy that.
Yeah, make sure I unplug it. Copy that.
But I'm bummed.
Xerox me on that.
Okay. So we'll review the questions again.
And this phone.
So on the 16th, we're reviewing the questions.
Very
We're learning how to use the camera.
Yes.
Is that what we're doing on the
Yes.
16th?
Yeah.
It just started up. Yeah, I gotta unplug it for
Sean
next
Can
can
time.
find
be here.
his camera. He can
Yeah.
bring that
Very
too.
good. All right.
So I was gonna tell you.
All right.
we
Is that
can
it?
have a
Anybody
mod
have any
Any
closing
For the
comments?
good of the group.
Is that off?
Not yet.